Hello, I'm Reverend Michael Mugford, and I'm part of the ministry team at Cole Harbour Woodside United Church, along with Reverend Krista Elizabeth Wynn. I'm pleased to offer a spiritual reflection through United Churches for Dartmouth today. So, what are you supposed to say when someone says to you, "So, how are you doing?" Sometimes it feels easy to say, "I'm pretty good," or "fine," or some sort of non-committal comment, but don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, I'm doing great, and that's how I feel." But sometimes we aren't doing great. Sometimes we're in a hard place that we either can't give voice to, or maybe we just don't want to talk about that hard place that we're in at that particular moment, or with that particular person. Sometimes it's just easier to say, "I'm fine," or "I'm good," and let the encounter continue. Studies are showing, however, that we're not fine or good or anything of the sort more often than not. In fact, we're reporting that we have less and less of these fine days. So what do we do about it? Well, sometimes nothing. Sometimes we can ask a more probing question to the person we're speaking with, or be open to that deeper response. Sometimes, if the place is right, we can open up to one another and allow each other the place and the space to say, "I'm not okay," in that particular moment. It's a gift to find someone who you can be not okay with in that moment, or who feels the same way as you do. Of course, God is always present to us in all of the moments of life, but sometimes we need that other person, that other God-embodied being, to stand in front of us so we can say, "I'm not okay," or we can be that for another person. We've been through an awful lot the last couple of years, and we're still feeling like, in many ways, the ground is shifting beneath our feet. As people of faith, we claim for our own the constancy of the divine in the midst of all of these shifting sands of time and experience. And one of the wonderful things about our Judeo-Christian faith is that it's full of stories about people who are experiencing emotions and fears and uncertainties just like us. Circumstances not like a pandemic, but a pandemic isn't the same as an exile, as the Israelites experienced. The economic struggle we're in right now is not the same as being imprisoned, as Paul experienced. But the emotional, physical, and spiritual impact on who we are is just as real in each and every case. And there are times when we can turn to our faith and find a hope and an assurance that we can't conjure up for ourselves. And so we borrow those experiences of faith that help us to try and make sense of what's around us. I think Jesus kept his disciples close to him so that he could share his message with them, but also comfort and strengthen them as they journey. And I can't help but think he probably needed them at times too. Our faith tells us that we're assured that in God and in Christ we can find life in all its fullness. I don't think that means days of joy and laughter every day. In my mind, fullness of life means experiencing the good and the hard, the together and the apart, the faith and the doubt. That means when we are not okay, there is someone, God or one of God's wonderful stand-ins, who can hear us, acknowledge us, support us as we struggle. And sometimes we can be that person for another. Our life together means that we may not be okay in the moment. But I do truly believe that, as our United Church Creed reminds us, we are not alone. Thanks be to God. Peace.